What if the breakfast you trust the most is not harming your kidneys by itself, but is still quietly asking more from them than your body wants to give after 60? Not soda, not fast food, not dessert, an egg. That is the twist most people never hear clearly enough. Because the real danger is usually not one dramatic food. It is the same healthy breakfast, repeated for years, after your body, your kidneys, your blood pressure, and your sleep patterns have already changed. I'm Dr. Thomas Bennett, and I want to start with something reassuring. This is not a fear video. You do not need to panic about eggs, and you do not need to throw out a food that can still be useful. But you do need to understand one critical shift. After 60, the question is no longer just, is this food healthy? The better question is, does this breakfast still fit the kidneys I have now? And stay with me, because near the end, I am going to give you a new 10-second breakfast check that can help you tell whether your egg routine is helping your kidney plan or quietly making your mornings and nights harder than they need to be. Here is the first truth most people miss. Your kidneys do not always scream when they are under pressure. They often whisper. The CDC says chronic kidney disease can have no clear symptoms early on, and the National Kidney Foundation says one possible sign can be peeing more often, especially at night. So a person can feel mostly fine, keep eating what looks like a smart breakfast, and still miss the fact that their body may be asking for a different approach. That is what makes this so important after 60. A small pattern can become a big story over time. And let me give you the first payoff early. If the egg is plain, but the plate is salty, the sodium is usually the bigger story. I have seen this pattern too many times. In older adults who believed they were doing everything right. They came into a routine visit, feeling normal, then left hearing words like creatinine, filtration, albumin, or chronic kidney disease for the first time. And when they look back, the clues were often small enough to dismiss. Slight swelling in the ankles by evening, a little more fatigue than usual, waking at night more often, and blaming age. Feeling disciplined because breakfast looked clean and consistent. That is why this topic matters so much. The kidneys can fall behind quietly, while daily habits keep moving on autopilot. So, when I talk about eggs today, I am not asking you to fear breakfast. I am asking you to stop assuming that a food is automatically safe, just because it once fit your body well. That one line can save many people months or years of confusion, because when viewers worry about eggs, they often ignore the real breakfast problem, sitting right next to them. Bacon, sausage, processed cheese, salty toast toppings, packaged hash browns, frozen breakfast sandwiches, or restaurant skillets loaded with sodium. NIDDK says damaged kidneys cannot manage salts and minerals the way healthy kidneys should, and sodium guidance from NIDDK says eating less sodium can help lower blood pressure and may slow CKD. So if you feel puffy, if your rings feel tighter, if your socks leave marks, or if your nighttime bathroom trips are getting more frequent, the question is not only, did I eat an egg? It is also, what came with it? If that makes sense already, type balance in the comments. Now let's sharpen the real issue. Eggs are not the enemy. In fact, the National Kidney Foundation says eggs are a good source of protein and are low in sodium and potassium, which is one reason they can fit many kidney meal plans. That is the benefit side, and it matters. A plain egg can be a much cleaner breakfast anchor than many processed breakfast foods. It can help you feel satisfied, support muscle, and give you a more stable starting point than a salty drive-through meal. So yes, eggs can absolutely be part of a kidney-conscious morning. But here is the reversal. A useful food can still become the wrong routine when context changes. Because protein is helpful, but protein also creates work. When your body uses protein, waste products still have to be managed, and your kidneys are part of that story. KDIGO guidance says, protein intake in adults living with CKD should be individualized, generally around 0.8 grams per kilogram per day, unless a clinician advises differently. That means the smarter question is not, are eggs good or bad? It is, how do eggs fit into my total day, my lab results, and my kidney reality right now? This is where so many people get trapped by old success. They think, "I've eaten eggs for years. I've always done well with this breakfast. I'm trying to stay strong." And that sounds reasonable. But after 60, many people are no longer starting from zero. Blood pressure may already be higher than it used to be. Blood sugar may already need more attention. Fluid balance may be less forgiving. Sleep may be lighter. And the kidneys may not have the same reserve they had 20 years ago. NIDDK and CDC both emphasize that diabetes and high blood pressure are leading causes of chronic kidney disease. So the old breakfast that once felt simple may now need more precision than it did before. And here is another payoff you should hear before we go any deeper. One breakfast does not stay one breakfast. That line matters because people often look only at the plate in front of them. 2 eggs at breakfast, yogurt later, chicken at lunch, a protein snack in the afternoon, fish at dinner, cheese somewhere in between. Suddenly the body is not dealing with a healthy breakfast. It is dealing with a full-day protein load. And that is where the stress can become invisible. The kidneys do not just process what you ate at 8 a.m. They live inside the pattern. You repeat it all day. But now, let's avoid the biggest overreaction. Some people hear that protein needs attention, and they swing to the opposite extreme. They cut eggs. They cut meat. They start eating tiny portions and bland starches because it feels safer. That is not wisdom. That is fear pretending to be discipline. The National Kidney Foundation warns that too little protein can lead to malnutrition. So the answer is not more protein, no matter what. But it is also not remove protein and hope. After 60, your body usually needs precision, not extremes. You still need strength. You still need muscle. You still need enough nutrition to recover, move well, and stay independent. If you want a simple word for the goal, type precision in the comments. Now here is where the egg story becomes even more useful. The benefit of eggs for kidney health is not magic. The benefit is that eggs can give you satisfying protein without the heavy sodium load that often comes from more processed breakfast choices. That matters because sodium can raise blood pressure, worsen fluid retention, and make a kidney routine harder to manage. So if someone swaps a salty breakfast sandwich for a simple egg with vegetables, that change may support kidney health much better than they realize. And if nighttime bathroom trips are part of the picture, that lower sodium breakfast pattern may help you avoid making an already fragile pattern worse. Not because eggs cure nighttime urination, they do not, but because a more kidney-aware, lower sodium plate can be a smarter direction than the salty breakfast many older adults repeat without thinking. That is the lane I want you to remember. Not eggs cure anything. Not eggs are dangerous. The real message is this: eggs can be useful when they replace worse breakfast habits and when they fit your actual kidney context. Now let's talk about the number that should guide the whole conversation: eGFR. Many people know creatinine because they have seen it on a lab report. Fewer people understand estimated glomerular filtration rate. But NIDDK says eGFR and urine albumin, usually checked with UACR, are the 2 key markers used to evaluate chronic kidney disease. That means your lab work tells the real story. If your eGFR is healthy and your urine albumin is normal, your breakfast flexibility is usually wider. If your kidney function is lower or albumin in the urine is higher, the margin becomes smaller. And that is exactly why guessing from a YouTube comment or a family habit is not enough. So, if you are over 60, if you have diabetes or high blood pressure, if your ankles swell, if you feel tired for no clear reason, if you notice foamy urine, or if you are waking up at night to urinate more often than before, the safest next move is not to fear the egg. The safest next move is to know your numbers. Because once you know your eGFR and UACR, breakfast stops being an argument and becomes a plan. There is another detail inside eggs that deserves a calm explanation: the yolk. Online, people either worship the yolk or demonize it. Neither is helpful. The National Kidney Foundation says eggs contain phosphorus, and phosphorus may need more attention in CKD. When kidneys are not working well, extra phosphorus can build up more easily and become part of a bigger mineral balance problem. That still does not make yolks bad. It simply means the whole plate may need more attention, especially if your labs already suggest that phosphorus is an issue. For some people, that may mean fewer whole eggs. For others, it may mean using more egg whites and fewer yolks more often. And for many people with normal labs, one whole egg may fit just fine. Notice what keeps happening in this video. The answer is never fear. The answer is always context. Now I want to tighten one more area that people rarely connect clearly enough to kidney stress and nighttime urination. Breakfast preparation. I am not going to spend long here because it is not the main axis, but it does matter. The National Kidney Foundation says eggs are safest with a cooked yolk, and older adults are more vulnerable to foodborne illness. So the point is simple. If eggs are going to help your routine, prepare them in a straightforward, safe way, and do not turn a simple food into a risky experiment. And now, let me keep my word and give you the 10-second tip I promised at the beginning. I call it the first bite kidney check. Before your first bite, look at the plate and ask 4 fast questions. First, do I know my last eGFR and UACR, or am I eating on pure assumption? Second, is this plate low in sodium, or is the healthy egg sitting next to the very foods most likely to make the breakfast harder on my kidneys? Third, how much protein have I already planned for the rest of the day? Fourth, if I have been waking up to urinate more often at night, am I building a breakfast that fits a kidney-friendly plan, or am I just repeating a habit because it feels familiar? That is the tip. 10 seconds, 4 questions. And it works because it forces you to look at the full pattern, not just the egg. So, what is the final takeaway? Eggs can be good for kidney health when they are used intelligently. Their real advantage is not that they are a miracle. It is that they can be a cleaner, lower sodium, more controlled breakfast option than many processed alternatives. That can be genuinely helpful for someone trying to protect kidney function, support muscle, and avoid making nighttime bathroom patterns worse through a careless morning routine. But the benefit only becomes real when the egg fits your labs, your phosphorus needs, your protein budget, and the rest of the plate. So, tomorrow morning, do not ask, should I be scared of eggs? Ask, is this breakfast lighter, cleaner, and more kidney-aware than what I usually eat? Does it fit my numbers? Does it reduce the chance that I am quietly pushing the same pressure day after day? That is a better question, and better questions often lead to better labs. If this helped you, type GUID in the comments. One word, guide. That tells me to make more practical videos like this that turn confusing health advice into simple daily decisions. And please share this with a husband, wife, brother, sister, or friend your age who still thinks a healthy-looking breakfast is automatically a kidney-safe one. Sometimes the best help we can give the people we love is one small habit shift before the next lab result forces the lesson, and ask them to get tested before symptoms make the conversation harder.